Hello everybody! For World Book Day I have been reading some books. Today I'm going to read a part of a story from this book, Danny the Champion of the World. It's my most favourite Roald Dahl book. I read it first when I think I was about 10 or 11 and I loved the idea of living in a caravan. It sounded fantastic, and also some of the adventures that Danny gets up to are really exciting. So I'm going to read the beginning of this book today. And if you want to carry on and find out, when you get back here next week, and we're all very excited to see you, you can go and have a look in the library for it. Okay, Danny, the Champion of the World. The filling station. When I was 4 months old, my mother died suddenly, and my father was left to look after me all by himself. This is how I looked at the time. I had no brothers or sisters. So all through my boyhood, from the age of 4 months onward, there were just the two of us, my father and me. We lived in an old gypsy caravan behind a filling station. My father owned the filling station and the caravan and a small field behind, but that was about all he owned in the world. It was a very small filling station on a small country road, surrounded by fields and woody hills. While I was still a baby, my father washed me and fed me and changed my nappies and did all the millions of other things a mum and dad normally does for their child. This is not an easy task when you're on your own, especially when he had to earn a living at the same time by repairing motor cars, engines and serving customers with petrol. So there's a picture of the petrol station. But in those days when Roald Dahl wrote this book, they were called filling stations. But my father didn't seem to mind. I think that all the love he had left for my mother when she was alive, he now lavished upon me. During my early years, I never had a moment's unhappiness or illness, and here I am on my 5th birthday. There he is. He looks like he's been helping with the cars. I was now a scruffy little boy, as you can see, with grease and oil all over me. But that was because I spent all day in the workshop helping my father with the cars. The filling station itself had only 2 pumps. There was a wooden shed behind the pumps that served as an office. There was nothing in the office except an old table and a cash register to put the money into. It was one of those where you pressed a button and a bell rang and the drawer shot out with a terrific bang. I used to love that. The square brick building to the right of the office was the workshop. My father built that himself with loving care, and it was the only really solid thing in the place. "We are engineers, you and I," he used to say to me. "We earn our living by repairing engines, and we can't do good work in a rotten workshop." It was a fine workshop, big enough to take 1 car comfortably and leave plenty of room round the sides for working. It had a telephone so that customers could arrange to bring their cars in for repair. The caravan was our house and our home. It was a real old gypsy wagon with big wheels and fine patterns painted all over it in yellow and red and blue. My father said it was at least 150 years old. Many gypsy children, he said, had been born in it and had grown up within its wooden walls. With a horse to pull it, the old caravan must have wandered for thousands of miles along the roads and lanes of England. But now its wanderings were over, and because the wooden spokes in the wheels were beginning to rot, my father had propped it up underneath with bricks. There was only 1 room in the caravan, and it wasn't much bigger than a fair-sized modern bathroom. It was a narrow room, the shape of the caravan itself, and against the back wall were 2 bunk beds, one above the other. The top one was my father's, the bottom one was mine. Although we had electric lights in the workshop, We were not allowed to have them in the caravan. The electricity people said it was unsafe to put wires into something as old and rickety as that. So we got our heat and light in much the same way as the gypsies had done years ago. There was a wood-burning stove with a chimney that went up through the roof, and this kept us warm in winter. There was a paraffin burner on which to boil a kettle or cook a stew, and there was a paraffin lamp hanging from the ceiling. And I'm going to leave it there. If you want to find out a little bit more about where Danny lived and his very exciting adventures, some with his dad and some with other people, then you might want to carry on reading. Danny, the Champion of the World by Roald Dahl. See you all next week. Bye.